Hi everyone, it's Pamela. How are you doing? Please like this video, please subscribe, please share it. It really helps me continue to do this for you. And today we are going to talk about the moon in Gemini. I'm so excited about this video. And like I always say, please look at the whole chart, look at aspects to the moon as well. This is a small yet very big piece of the puzzle, and I'm very excited to share this information with you. Please comment if you do have any questions or if you have any comments, and thank you for being so awesome. Thank you for being growth-minded, and let's get into this. Moon in Gemini. If I had something to say to someone with the moon in Gemini, it would be, wow, you made it to Earth, didn't you? And I guess you didn't think you'd be here, did you? People with their moon in Gemini are definitely a little bit otherworldly. Now, with that being said, that can really go either way, where they can use that moon to bring a sense of otherworldliness to this world and lead some sort of a charge. Barack Obama, Vladimir Putin, and who else? Jennifer Lawrence, Amelia Earhart, George Carlin, they all have their moon in Gemini. Now these are, as you can tell, these people have made waves. My favorite being George Carlin. He has changed the game, or he had, I guess we should say. He really changed the game in comedy. He really was one of the few comics to, at that time, call out things like government and policies and so on and so forth in the way that he did. You know, if you know anything, I'm not saying that no other comic has done that. I'm saying that George Carlin had this uncanny ability to just really shove the raw true in your face, so much so that it was kind of hilarious. So, and with that being said, this is a great skill that someone with the moon in Gemini would have. These are great writers, great salespeople. So what do salespeople and writers do? They talk about the truth in a way that is true and yet adaptable. The truth is adaptable. And if there is, and it's also perception. Nothing's really true, and yet there are still truths that exist within the collective that when you address, they know what you're talking about, if that makes sense. So this is definitely a bit of a struggle for someone with their moon in Gemini. What's true anyways? Like, I'll give you an example. Going to a board meeting in like what I'm wearing right now. Now, could you do that? Sure. In the context of if I were a famous celebrity, for example, I'm sure I could. However, someone with their moon in Gemini would almost want to know, well, why can't I, someone who's not famous, just go into a board meeting like this? What's wrong with the world? And if you are someone with their moon in Gemini, once you understand these collective truths that, aren't really truths, but they are for certain people, or they feel true, once you understand the power of that, that's when you can really step into your own power. If you think about the twins, two halves of a whole, and the whole, the thing that a moon in Gemini really needs to understand is there will never be no darkness. And maybe as a moon in Gemini, you already kind of have figured this out. And if you have, congratulations, you're awesome. And there will never not be darkness. Light needs darkness, and together they make a whole. So you, as your moon in Gemini, as a moon in Gemini person, it is hot here, you guys. So if I'm like not saying things properly or if I look like I'm sweating, it's because it's super hot and my air conditioning broke, so forgive me. And the thing with Moon in Gemini is once you realize that you need both to move forward, you can step into your truth. Truth is a dominant theme and a healing theme for people with their Moon in Gemini. Because someone with their Moon in Gemini understands that truth is very much a perception, sometimes there might be an inclination to mold that truth. Now, there's a difference between perceptive truth and what, like I said, society deems as a fact. So you don't have to accept those things, and yet it really greases the wheel when you do, okay? So what truths have you been keeping in the dark that you really need to step into and reveal? Because these Moon in Gemini are actually going to be your biggest strengths, especially since you are here to really make some sort of impact, as far as I can see, if you so choose. You don't have to. You know, an impact could be that you give back to people that need it. Well, you would be impacting those lives, right? So just like how truth is perceptive, it's the same thing with something like you're here to give back, okay? That is relative to what you choose. So with that being said, dating someone with their Moon in Gemini, these people love to have fun. They're all about change. They are all about the turn on of the mind. They want to be turned on right here first. So if you are with a Moon in Gemini, or if you are a Moon in Gemini, you need to know that you or they really, really need that. So you wouldn't just like text them, oh, I'm coming over, or something like that. You would seduce them with your words throughout the day, all the time. And by the way, this is a great gift that the Gemini gives to us. So a lot of Moon in Geminis, they might suffer from something like asthma or something like that. That can be very common because it rules the throat, the hands, the arms. And so with that being said, there could be something like that, maybe rashes that appear, or arthritis or something like that, carpal tunnel syndrome. Oops, just knocked the camera. And that is more apt to happen when they are not happy, when they're not speaking their truth. For example, when they've shunned either the light or the dark or the whole. And so with that being said, how again can you integrate who you really are? You're not supposed to be like everyone else in this lifetime, Moon in Gemini, and that's okay. This is something that you need to step into. So someone with Moon in Gemini might be a little bit more kinky than your average bear. And also, in a man's chart, the Moon in Gemini represents, or can represent, the wife. It represents the mother in everyone's chart. So like I always say, look at the whole chart, look at the different aspects as well, look at the house placement. So a man with Moon in Gemini would attract and have more of a long-standing, deep attraction to someone with those Gemini qualities. Someone who is not very emotional, someone who's always looking for the next adventure, someone whose main life theme is change and movement and creation and making a big splash and then moving on to the next place. So with that being said, someone whose opinion changes from one minute to the other, and it's an exciting thing. With a man who is with someone who isn't changeable, right? Like maybe someone who's very stubborn, they're really not going to be as happy. And so they really need that injection of fun and vigor in their life. So if you meet a man that has their Moon in Gemini and you notice that they aren't stepping into that, like maybe they haven't taken on that Gemini energy, that would be kind of like what you would step into, assuming you're the woman or the man of the feminine energy, right? So you would be that, the existence, you would be the creation in the life of that moon in Gemini. I hope that that makes sense. So the mother in this sign, more likely than not, was kind of neither here nor there. She was probably more like a sibling or like a big sister than an actual mother. The mother, more likely than not, was kind of always off onto or into another adventure and was really there for this person, or you, depending who's watching this, in a lot of moments that involved no emotion. And as soon as emotion came out, or as soon as it was something serious, the mother, more likely than not, wasn't there, or took off, or was like, oh, gotta go, or just didn't answer her phone conveniently, for example. So with that being said, this person has essentially been trained from a very young age to indulge in ventures of the mind and not the emotion. And so with that being said, a life hack, another life hack for these people is going to be channeling that darkness or that emotion that is undealt with, that's the key here, into your pursuits, and leading the charge that is in alignment with the whole and all of these ideas. If you try as a moon in Gemini to lead a charge and be like, well, I think I might not include those things, you won't really be very aerodynamic in that charge. So make sure you're bringing the whole with you in that. And if you're dating this person or interested or friends with them, understand that they've really been conditioned to indulge in mental ventures, not emotional ventures. So you might have to be the emotional one in these situations, and read them a book. Tell them a story. If they're down in the dumps, they need some sort of communication or mental resurrection in order to get out of it. Now, the other thing is that the mother, more likely than not, did not teach this person how to take care of their whole self, like I was saying. And so if you can get them in touch with the body, this is really going to help these people a lot, because they really got in touch with the mind, maybe not so much with the body, depending on the whole chart. Okay, so I love these people. I think that it can appear a little crazy making to have moon in Gemini. It's like, oh my gosh, what does a person do with this energy over here? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And these are the creative geniuses of the zodiac, and or they certainly can be. And the fact that they march to the sound of their own drum is what makes them so intriguing, especially in this day and age that we are in now, where things are changing and the people that are getting phased out are actually the ones that are not so good with change right now. So thank you, Moon in Gemini. You're amazing. Are you a moon in Gemini? Are you in love with the moon in Gemini? If so, good luck. And moon in Gemini is very compatible with other changing kind of personalities. People who like change, astrology or not. Anyone that has, you know, a lot of Sagittarius energy, Aquarius energy, anything like that, Gemini energy as well can be really good. And let me know what you think about this. What is your experience with this? Again, forgive me if I was a little off with my words. It is super hot. It is so hot in here right now. I got to fix my air conditioning. I love you. I love you. I love you. Whether it's day or night, I love you so, so much. Please click here to subscribe. Please click here to watch my recent video. And please click here to check out my website. I love you. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye.